All right, let's get to a couple of other non-vaccine things that I wanted to go over. We're still dealing with the aftermath in many different ways of the January 6th Trump riots. And there is a really interesting exchange between two members of Congress that I want to look at with you today. One of them is a member of Congress you may not be familiar with. It's Democratic Congressman Joseph Morelle from New York. The other guy is someone you probably would be familiar with. It's Republican Congressman Jim Jordan, who was one of the members of Congress trying to stand in the way of the certification of the 2020 presidential election on January 6th, and who there was an attempt made to put him on the committee investigating the Trump riots, when really he seems maybe more like a witness or even a co-conspirator in those events. But regardless, he had a really interesting exchange yesterday at a hearing meant to be about voter laws, gerrymandering, access to voting, etc. And he utilized a rhetorical crutch that a lot of these, what I call pseudo-insurrectionists, light insurrectionists, have been using when confronted with, we're now how many months out? We're now 9 months out from the election. Are you ready to say that Joe Biden really won? And they have this rhetorical crutch they use where they say, I admit Joe Biden is president. And of course, that's a way to not really answer the question. So let's take a look at it. This is very interesting. The gist here is his talking point is not actually an answer to the question. Okay, so let's jump right in.
If there's been all this suppression that previous Democrats speakers have talked about, I'm sure it isn't working very well, because we have record turnout, which is, as we've said now multiple times, the ranking member said it, I think all the Republicans.
So what he's arguing here is we don't really need to do anything about voter suppression because it clearly doesn't exist because we had record turnout in the election. This is his line of reasoning, and then Joe Morelle cuts in.
It's a good thing. So of course that hasn't happened.
It's a disgrace. I also find it curiouser and curiouser that, Mr. Jordan, you would use 2020 data on election participation when you won't even acknowledge the outcome of the same election.
Right.
I've acknowledged the outcome of the election.
Have you? Did Joe Biden win this election? There was no fraud? You're prepared to say that?
He's president of the United States.
No,
He's the president of the United States. And Joe Morelle points out, you're not answering my question, Jim.
that's not what I asked you. Did he win the election? You said he's the president of the United States. That's only because we were here while the Capitol was being besieged by thousands of people intent on overturning it, and stuck around to be able to confirm the results of the Electoral College. That's why you acknowledge the president.
All I've said is we should look into concerns that lots of voters have. I've never said that he didn't win. He's the president of the United States. But I said we should look into the concerns. I think that's just common sense.
Well, looking at concerns is fine. That's just the problem is
you guys don't want to do that.
I don't know how many court cases we
asked
ever
for an
found
investigation.
So this is important to understand. This is a tool that is used really often. It's a rhetorical tool that's used in general, which is you're asked a question where the real answer, that's the substantive answer, would be politically disadvantageous, or it might be disadvantageous to the point you're trying to make. So you answer it, but you're not really answering it substantively. You're responding, but you're not answering it substantively. There's a classic example of this that I want to play for you guys. This is any opportunity I have to play this, I take, because it's just such a great example. This is back in the Bush era. Former Deputy Assistant Attorney General John Yoo was being asked by Congressman John Conyers, is there anything a president couldn't order done to a prisoner, bearing the prisoner alive, whatever? And John Yoo, I've actually used this in the class I taught. John Yoo answers every other question other than the one being asked. So let's look at this together. It's really worth understanding this rhetorical crutch because it's used so often. Here we go.
Thank you. Is there anything, Professor Yoo, that the president could not order to be done to a suspect if he believed it necessary for national defense?
Well, Mr. Chairman, I think that goes back to the quote you just read, because...
No, I'm just asking you the question. Maybe it does or doesn't, but what do you think?
I think it's the same question that I was asked.
Well, what's the answer?
First, can I make clear I'm not talking about.
And you don't have to make anything clear. Just answer the question, counsel.
So this, by the way, this is all the buildup. This is not actually using that crutch, but he will.
I just want to make sure I'm not saying anything.
You don't have to worry about not saying. Just answer the question.
Okay. My thinking right now.
Yes, right now.
Okay, my thinking right now.
This moment.
Yes. This moment, Mr. Chairman, is that, first, the question you're posing.
What is the answer?
Mr. Chairman, I'm not trying to make you.
I get it. Okay.
Let me answer I will answer the question.
No, you're wasting my time. Look, counsel,
I don't think
we've
the
all
president-
practiced law. Hold it. Could the president order a suspect buried alive?
Mr. Chairman, I don't think that I have ever
I'm asking you that.
given the advice that the president could bury some.
So remember, this is at the heart of what can we do? What counts as torture? What's not? This was a major issue at the time. If this was before you were following politics, this was an issue of paramount importance. And the question was, if the president said, bury this suspect alive, could they legally do that? And John Yoo says, I've never given a president that advice. But that's not the question.
Somebody alive.
I didn't ask you if you ever gave him advice. I asked you, do you think the president could order a suspect buried alive?
Mr. Chairman, my view right now is that I don't think a president would, no American president would ever have to order that or feel it necessary.
That's, again, not actually answering the question that is being asked, going from I've never given that advice to I don't think a president would ever feel it necessary to do that. But the question is, if the president felt it necessary to do that, would it be a legal thing to do? So Jim Jordan doing the same thing. Many Republicans, when they're asked, did Joe Biden win fair and square? They say, Joe Biden is the president. We know Joe Biden's the president. He was sworn in. It's another way to get around having to actually substantively answer these questions. One of our sponsors today is Nebbia, the creator of the world's most innovative shower head. It uses only about half the water that other shower heads do, saving you money, helping the environment, but it's actually a lot more powerful than other shower heads on the market. It has twice the coverage of other shower heads. The water sprays with a ton of pressure. I've been using it in my bathroom at home. I love it. Only took a few minutes to set up, really easy, and it's been a totally different experience than any other shower head I've used. I can get in and out of the shower way quicker now because of how powerful it is. It only takes a few seconds to get completely rinsed off. So I was actually amazed that it's only using about half as much water. Nebbia also offers a number of shower accessories like shelves and curtains, which match perfectly with the design of the shower head. The shower head starts at just $199, and you'll get 10% off all Nebbia products when you go to nebbia.com/Pacman and use the coupon code Pacman. The link is right underneath this video.